We're live. Da, 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 da. I did this yesterday and it was a
Hey
great
guys.
opening. I did the music. Hey, everybody, it's Andy from Chainlink Labs. We're here on Chainlink Live talking to Matthijs from AllianceBlock. We got AllianceBlock friends in the chat. Very happy to have everybody here. I'm super excited to talk to you, Matthijs. And of course, my co-host, Zaji. I'm glad that you're here as well. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing well. Excited to be here. Matthijs, how's everything going for you in AllianceBlock?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, we had an amazing couple of months. We had an amazing 2021, to be honest, and super excited to be here as well.
Really, it was a good time for DeFi, right? It was a good time.
It's a good time for DeFi. It's always a good time for DeFi, to be honest. I mean, if you believe in the future that DeFi is just going to be simply finance, then every day is a good time, right?
Absolutely. We were just talking to Matthijs about an upcoming conference next week. The Zaji and I are attending ETH Denver, and he's like, I don't even know about it because he's been so busy doing product development. So like they're in build mode, which is fantastic news for those of you who are AllianceBlock fans as well. So that no pressure on coming to conferences. If you're in build mode, dude, you just hustle. It's fine.
Just around 10 products in parallel.
Only 10. That's fine.
It's not 10. That big of a deal, you guys.
Exactly. That's what we call at AllianceBlock the no mercy mentality.
No mercy.
Exactly.
Leon has a question right off the bat, and we're not going to answer this question, but I'm going to bring it up because this is what we're talking about today. Leon says, interested in what the use case of the ALBT USDT feed, he's talking about the new Chainlink Price Feed, means for the future of the ALBT ecosystem. What about you guys? Leon, that's exactly what I'm interested in. We announced last week, or you announced, AllianceBlock announced last week, this new feed that's a Chainlink data feed. And that's what kind of spawned this conversation. So saw that go out, wanted to set this up. Maybe it was a couple of weeks ago now, but still not too long ago. And come on in. So really excited to talk about that and all sorts of other developments. Actually, let's get this started. We got people here. Let's get going. It's Chainlink Live. Welcome to Chainlink Live. I'm Andy Boyan from Chainlink Labs, and with me is Zaji Reyes from Chainlink Labs and Matthijs, co-founder and CTO of AllianceBlock. We're going to be talking about the new ALBT USDT price feed that came out. It's Chainlink Price Feed, along with all sorts of other stuff, DeFi related, AllianceBlock related, including your questions. So feel free to drop those in the chat. We'll be happy to talk to you. As Leon already demonstrated, we had one question. For those, yeah, let's go. See, the chat's piping up. We like it.
Nice.
For those of us who are not as familiar with AllianceBlock, give us an overview. What is AllianceBlock? Kind of what's your main value add and what distinguishes you from other sorts of projects in the space?
Absolutely, my pleasure. First of all, thank you so much for the warm welcome, you guys, and welcome at the AllianceBlock office today. Based in the Netherlands, we were founded in 2018, and now we have also a main office in Zug, the crypto valley in Switzerland. And our main focus is on 3 pillars, where we focus on everything in DeFi. Making sure that we get best-in-class UX for all projects in DeFi. With help of our products, focus on data, the new data economy, participative, inclusive, very important values to us, and another pillar on compliance, where we can make sure that there is a bridge between traditional finance and decentralized finance in a way that it really makes sense. Not just focus on interoperability, but the thing that nobody wants to speak about or think about because it's too complicated or sometimes even boring, which is compliance. And we developed like 10 products in parallel right now. A few highlights of those is completely decentralized bridge between 7 networks right now. A liquidity mining and single-sided staking white label platform with many clients already live on it today. A data tunnel, trustless identity verification. I can go on and on like this.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with AllianceBlock, it seems, which is incredible. Like you said, 10 products. I'm sure you're building more. So really, really great to see all that progress. But very cool. So let's go ahead and jump in. What is going on with this ALBT USDT price feed? What is the value there? Also, say that 3 times fast. It's kind of hard. ALBT USDT. What's going on there, and how is this important for the community?
Yeah, so for us, decentralization is really important. And when we look at it from a business perspective, we don't want to have clients with contract and where we need consultancy in order to onboard them. So we want to have a completely decentralized, trustless process in order to onboard the clients. But of course, at the same time, we need to generate revenue, right? Good for AllianceBlock, good for the ecosystem that we are aiming to build. So when we look at our liquidity mining and single-sided staking platform, which we call LMAS, or liquidity mining as a service, we wanted to create an environment where every project can onboard themselves without without us intervening, right? So in order for the payment system to work in ALBT, we needed to have a system, an oracle that is not depending on smaller exchanges that have maybe a large sell-off where the price drops or increases rapidly, like flash loan attack kind of situation, so that malicious project could cheaply onboard themselves maybe. So we needed a fully trusted system, and we found that in the Chainlink Price Feed. This helps us, having this environment where projects can easily onboard themselves, really aligns with our vision of all our products. Because in our vision, especially looking in the future, trustless decentralization is key in order to make this ecosystem work for all of us, right?
Yeah, no, it's really important to build that decentralized piece. And I'm just curious, how is your community reacting to that? Because you are bringing in the TradFi community as well, right? As well as the DeFi community. So how has that been converging those two together?
Well, actually, it's easy and it's hard, because if we look at TradFi, it's really the right time in order to engage with them, right? Because they all have seen it. They all have this kind of, I would say, almost FOMO, because if we look at, for example, asset managers, wealth managers, private banks, they have their clients. They're asking for DeFi. They're asking for crypto. The only problem is that they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's a wallet or Ethereum or smart contracts. So there is a lot of education going on from our side in order to, align them, to make them fully understand what is going on, to include them in what's going on, what we are doing, what can be done. And then we include them in our ecosystem for their clients and for our clients. Well, compliance, of course, is a very important thing that's constantly overlooked at. And compliance is a little bit controversial in DeFi, because in one hand you have the anonymity, the decentralization, you have transparency, but you don't know, if you see a transaction, from which person it went to what person. So we found it a way where you have still the anonymity, so you don't know who you're dealing with, but you know that this person was verified at some point, and it can be proven that it was verified. You just don't know the details. And this verification is including the AML check. So they have no fraudulent past. They're whitelisted or from a whitelisted jurisdiction. So this is perfect for DeFi, because you can reuse this verification information. You don't have to refill your identity every time, but you can participate in compliant financial products on the blockchain, which is amazing in my opinion.
For the technology curious out there, how do you do that? Is it do you use like a secure hardware, whatever it's called, box that keeps that and stores that, or what is that?
Well, it's a lot of cryptography involved. And we do it with a partner that we have, very powerful identity verification provider, GPG PLC from the UK. They are one of the biggest identity verification providers in the traditional world. And we use them to have the right verifications, but combined with our technology in order to make it trustless and reusable. Cool. And the release will still be a couple of months away from now. So I don't want to go into too many secret details.
Hey, no problem. No problem here. I understand.
But definitely worth it to keep an eye on the roadmap.
Great. And does that touch into the data economy that you were talking about a bit?
Sorry?
Does this kind of tie into that data economy piece that you were talking about that you're building with AllianceBlock?
That's a very interesting way to frame that question. Yes, is actually the answer, because what we believe is also that all the data that you own as a person, sometimes it makes sense to share this data. right? And through the data tunnel, we actually offer this type of sharing, but you can choose with whom you want to share this and which data point and which data not, that you can revoke it at any time. And I think this is very future ready also for the new GDPR things that are upcoming. All the privacy discussions that are going on with kind of data that is stored in cookies and with whom you want to share it and with whom you don't want. So the data tunnel, amongst other things, is not just that, plays a very large role in it. So it makes complete sense to tie this into the trustless identity verification module indeed. Yeah.
I want to take 1 sec, and we have some new joiners. And so, hey, everybody, welcome. I'm Andy, and this is Aji from Chainlink Labs, and we're talking to Matthijs, co-founder of AllianceBlock, and we're talking about AllianceBlock. They recently announced a new ALBT USDT Chainlink Price Feed. See, Aji, I can say it super fast.
It's a quick one.
It's a quick one, but we do this. This new price feed that provides a decentralized price feed, a highly secure, really reliable price feed for ALBT price data. One of the things you mentioned was this liquidity mining as a service, LMAS. Can you talk a little bit about that? That's very curious. I know, like, the past couple of months, there was this talk about DeFi 2.0 and like protocol owned liquidity and that sort of thing. Is that related to that? How does this work? Tell us about liquidity mining as a service.
So if we go back a little bit, in 2020, we wanted to create liquidity mining campaigns and staking campaigns for our users, right? Our community. And what we saw in the market, very prone to hacks or not very user-friendly. And we wanted to have something that everyone understands to use and that is really heavily audited so that we can be sure that funds are safe, right? So we decided to create our own. We put a lot of people on it, put a lot of time into it to make sure that we have really amazing environment. We did this for us. When we launched the first campaign, we saw it was really successful. So we launched another one on another DEX. Then we launched another on another DEX on another network. And when we saw, including with the single-sided staking campaigns that we released, that it was working really well for us and our community, it also brought us closer to our community. It was not just, the liquidity improvements and the lockups. It was also, the engagement between us and the community that was improving. That we thought, like, if it works so well for us, it can work for other projects too. So let's make it, available for all the other projects as well. So that's why we created LMAS, which stands for Liquidity Mining as a Service. And we created a completely no-code environment where any project, like I said before, can onboard themselves. They can deploy their own campaigns from which they know that they're for completely audited contracts. That they completely own themselves with the best practices in the market, forced multi-sig, the heavy checks and guards for inputting the right information, which then automatically deploys a complete web application that is very easy to use for their community, so that they cannot make mistakes while participating in liquidity mining and staking campaigns with their own look and feel. So a project basically in 1 hour can create complete web applications with multiple liquidity mining and staking campaigns, which looks like they did it like in the past half a year of development work.
What chains is that on?
So it's now on 4 networks: Avalanche, Polygon, Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain, with a couple of surprising ones, I hope, upcoming in the next couple of months.
All right. We got plenty on the roadmap. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Interesting, great, interesting product, and fascinating how you're using Chainlink price feeds in there as well. It all kind of fits in together. Do you have a couple of questions in the chat? So a couple I'm going to call out. Gandhi is in the chat. Mahatma Gandhi. That is a question actually for the AllianceBlock community. So I'm going to actually send you down below to the description to the AllianceBlock socials. Go join their Discord, join their Telegram. Matthijs, what's the best place, Discord or Telegram?
We are super active in Telegram. That's where most of our community are. So and me and my co-founder Rashid, we are active there. So if you want to tag us directly and have a chat, you're welcome. No mercy.
Awesome. So Gandhi, go there to ask that question because that's a technical, like, how do I get from A to B? And they'll be able to answer that for you better there. For a couple of the other questions, I'm going to save these. So Alex, I see yours. Leon, I see yours as well. So we'll get to those here in a little bit. Zaji, did you have another question?
Yeah, well, talking about the price feed again, how does that bring us towards greater DeFi adoption? And I think that is tying Leon's question in a little bit. Where is that putting us within your vision for DeFi?
Yeah, so like I said before, for us, when we look at, how we could have developed a product like Elmas, we could have done, every client would have to sign a contract and we will get the money on the bank, or we would have to say you have to pay an ALBT, which represents a certain dollar amount. And then we have to each time update this amount as the price is moving, right? Which is not in line with the vision of decentralization and working in a trustless way. So the first, because Elmas was our first full product that went live on mainnet, the first implementation of price feed, that we know that the price can be trusted at every moment of the day. We implemented that first. But yeah, of course, now that we have it there, is as a best practice, we can replicate it in our other products where it makes sense, in order to offer the same kind of solution where there is no need of this intercompany trust between each other and contracts, and we will have an ecosystem that can take care of itself, where at the end we are not needed to intervene in any situation, which is good for DeFi in general, because that will help the adoption, because there's no waiting times, there's no consultancy or discussions needed in order to get things going, which is a big problem in enterprises today, if you need to work with one another, right?
Would you say it's the difference between having like a service-based contract versus a self-service or a protocol-based contract? Is that kind of the difference there? It's like you're working with contracts and you're making deals and doing traditional business development versus just being able to do self-serve, access a protocol, and run it yourself. Is that sort of the difference?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it's of course, in one way you have to trust, the product that we offer, that's been developed, and therefore, in our opinion, it's really important to open source everything. So the contracts, they can be verified. You can check everything against the audit report of the auditor, which makes complete sense. If you do business with each other in a trustless way, you really do not have to worry about this trust, right? And that's why this is one of the really important things.
Leon's got a question. It's kind of a follow-up to that. Leon is asking, what are some easy to understand ways that this feed is used in these products? We talked about liquidity mining as a service. What about some of these other products, funders, the DEX, or data tunnel? Can you talk about any of those?
So it's a little bit early to speak about funders and the DEX right now in that sense, but for the data tunnel, I can say that the data tunnel is going to offer, in the end, we call it the Netflix of data, which is true in a lot of ways, not true in every way, because the data tunnel is much more than that. But envision a marketplace full of data sets. And these data sets are great for data scientists, amateurs, software developers, enterprises. So you have this wide array of data sets that the subscription revenue streams are going through smart contracts on the blockchain, where you have all these traditional companies that don't think in crypto. So, there is still a lot of thinking in USD, right? So it makes, sense to integrate it in this way, because mass adoption is important for DeFi and for our products, in order to create this ecosystem that we envision. So these things, they contribute to that.
One of the things I hear about a lot, I interview a lot of projects. When there is a price feed, a Chainlink price feed, now there's other DeFi protocols that will accept those assets, like Aave or Curve or Yearn or whoever it is. I'm not saying any of those are, but now they're confident that they've got a decentralized, stable data feed. And so now they will accept those assets on other places. Are those conversations as well? Like, is this good for ALBT across the DeFi ecosystem, just in generally in terms of utility as well?
I wouldn't say that this is our main focus right now. Our focus is really on product development that improve the maturity of DeFi in general, because our vision is really decentralized finance is simply the new finance. And this is really what we focus on working towards. And the ALBT token plays an important role in that ecosystem because it fuels the products inside of this ecosystem, or these 10 products that we are developing in parallel. So that's really where our main focus lies.
Cool.
I also wanted to ask real fast, when you were talking about building with these TradFi communities, a lot of them aren't thinking in the crypto way. Do you feel like as AllianceBlock, you've had to do a lot of education to bridge that gap, or are you taking it more from just the building standpoint?
Exactly. This is exactly what's happening right now. So it's actually an amazing time to speak to the traditional finance community, or actually multiple different traditional industries, because DeFi is a very hot topic. So they all want to know more about it. So we have an amazing couple of years of networking, which comes to fruition now. So we speak to them. We need to explain them what really is DeFi, and you have to sometimes really start at the beginning. Like, what is blockchain? What is Bitcoin? What is a smart contract? And then you go from there. Like, what is a DeFi protocol? What is a DEX? And all these new kind of concepts, they need to be able to fully understand them. Because if you look, like, for example, an asset manager, when they manage the wealth of their clients, they fully understand where this money is going to. They know the cash flow of the companies they invest in. They know the books. They know the clients of these companies. And if you look at DeFi, they need to fully understand, like, if the funds go into a DEX, in a liquidity pool, what does it do? What does it mean? And if they can't explain it to their clients, they cannot, offer it as a service. So this is where we put a lot of effort in now as well.
Are those traditional finance folks, are they getting decentralization? Do they understand like decentralized Oracle feeds or things like that? Does the sort of security implications make sense? Or is it falling on, like, are they still like, I don't know why you got to do it this way, or how's that coming along? What's their reactions generally? You probably get a wide range.
Actually, yeah, of course, they're on whole spectrum there on both sides, of course. But I think in general, it's pretty good. It's a pretty healthy understanding, especially after a couple of sessions of education. I think the major problem with good reason is the worry is really with compliance. Like, how can they compliantly interact with anything DeFi? And if you take away this worry by offering the right tools, right solutions, the right frameworks, there's really something to work with.
There's this really interesting dynamic in terms of a blockchain, the permissionless of participating as a blockchain miner or a validator. That's really traditionally completely permissionless, no borders. Absolutely anybody should be able to participate, and that's how you ensure decentralization and security in the system. The more decentralization, the better, right? That's what that ETH2 merge is about. But then when it comes to actual DeFi, decentralization might come on different levels. Like, well, maybe you can't have everybody staking in a pool because of permissions and national lines and things like that. So there are these different sort of layers between a blockchain layer and what's allowed on one DeFi layer versus another. That's a tough nut to crack.
I mean, it is. On the other hand, it's really straightforward if you think about it, but not, in the details of implementation. But if everybody in the community is wanting to come this institutional money to come into DeFi. I mean, a lot of people are always asking for this. It's coming. I hope it's coming soon. Then you have to accept this bit of compliance. So if you want to have a liquidity pool fueled by institutional money, this pool is only going to accept you if you're KYC'd. And this is for the DEX that we are developing, is going to be a part of the DEX. So it's not a requirement for the whole DEX. You can enter like you do with Uniswap or whatever other DEX without being KYC'd, but you can also participate in completely compliant pools. So that's the thing. Like, there's always this choice between this full decentralization, or participate in this part which is fueled by institutional money, but then it has to be in a compliant way. And then you really need to focus on making it as interesting and adaptable for DeFi as possible. And that's why we wanted to create our trustless and reusable identity verification module that retains your anonymity when you participate in something. You don't want to reshare your data. I mean, we already do it so much in DeFi, right? You have to show your KYC to exchange this, and then it's other token is only available on other exchange, so you share your documents again, and then you find out 2 weeks later that your information was leaked. I mean, come on. We always put ourselves at risk. So we can, put this down to zero or almost zero chance, that we made a huge step forward, right?
You said it's simple and straightforward. I think it is if you understand each level of the stack. Like if you understand, like, here's how Ethereum or level 1 blockchain works, and here's how a protocol sits on top of it, and here's how identity, fits in, and here's how oracles fit in data feeds. If you understand kind of the different components, it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, this is permissionless, this is not, this has got to be gated. But I can see that you have a challenge in some cases in that education piece. We all do, right? It's actually that's
exactly. It's true. And I think, the true success, and also the true secret for mass adoption, is to make all these layers invisible. If you want to have mass adoption, don't focus on helping everyone understand. Just make it so that nobody has to fully understand. This is what we're trying to achieve.
Saji, did you have a follow-up as well?
I think he's answered a lot of my questions. Was there anything else in the community that we wanted to touch on before?
We got some specific questions about release dates, and we're not talking about release dates, everyone. Yeah. We don't do that especially to CTOs. Technical people, no, man. We got to be friends with them. We ask them for specific release dates. They never come on the show again. We've got a question about AllianceBlock using CCIP. We've got to see what CCIP looks like first before we talk about who's using it and what it's going to look like there as well. But, I mean, these are questions that I want to know too, but we're not quite there yet. So we need to move forward in this year and see what CCIP looks like and see all those sorts of things. But we certainly can ask Matthijs about the 2022 roadmap for this year. You're already working on a bunch of products. So what do things generally look like looking forward this year?
So I think there are 2 products to really look forward to that are happening in the next couple of months. This is Funders. Funders is our decentralized peer-to-peer financing system platform. And we already have staking live on mainnet that is meant to be able to generate reputation ALBT. And reputation ALBT is non-tradable, only earnable or losable, is that a word? kind of points that are on chain that helps you have an equal opportunity. Everybody has equal opportunity from the start to build up reputation in a community-based financing platform, right? So
how do you make them non-tradable, but they're on chain? They're not tokens. They're something else.
So they're tokens, but we just reduce the transfer functionality. I mean, you're free to do with the transfer functionality, which you can. So they can only be transferred into whitelisted contracts that are linked to reputation.
Not to a DEX or something like that. Oh, fantastic.
No, not to a DEX, but really to, So what is really important for us is to create an environment, because we know that there are a lot of really intelligent people in the crypto space that add value in discussions, in insights, in questions, in answering questions, and we want to give them a platform where they can grow, learn from each other, and build reputation from this. And this is a very important core piece of the Funders platform, and this is one of the really important things to look forward to. Another is the DEX. We created a DEX with a completely new AMM, so we didn't fork any. We have a couple of quantitative analysts that built a mathematical model behind this automated market maker, and we reproduce them in smart contracts that are now live on testnet to be fully tested. We have a bug bounty program active, and we really invite people to come and break it as much as possible, so that we can make sure that we can make it better. And once that process is ended, we will bring it live on mainnet.
Really making sure that that you've caught all of the bugs, making sure that it's as usable as possible by the community, it sounds like.
Exactly. And we have proven, we have also written a paper about that with this DEX. We really drastically reduced impermanent loss. So this is a very important and interesting, unique selling point of this DEX.
Amazing. Fantastic conversation. I was just jotting down notes about this tokens with no transfer. You're giving me all sorts of ideas.
It's really cool.
You can see me down here like, oh, hold on. So thank you so much. Matthijs, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your community coming, and everybody, I appreciate your questions as well. We're going to have you sign off, and we'll talk to the community. So we'll let you go and keep building. I know you guys have so many products in the works. So I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you. And as always, guys, no mercy. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Zaji, that was great, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot, honestly. It was really interesting.
No,
Lots of products.
So many. Community, thank you so much for your questions. Down in the description below, you can find links to the AllianceBlock Telegram and all their properties. Go follow all their stuff. Go do all their stuff and follow it there. And while you're doing that, Zaji, what other community should they join?
The Chainlink community.
All the links are down there. Join the Discord for plenty of developer conversation, community, and other community stuff. There's Telegram too. Follow Chainlink at Chainlink on Twitter for official updates on products and all sorts of cool news. Also follow us at smart_contract on Twitter. That's where you get announcements for AMAs like these. We have a bunch of these. We do about 2 a week. Can you look up who we're doing next week? I'll shill a little bit more our Twitters. So follow Smart Contract, and then you can also follow at Chainlink Labs, which is a newer account that we're spinning up as the Chainlink Labs, which is a company entity that helps build the Chainlink protocol. So you can learn about job postings and all sorts of things related to the actual company that people like Zaji and I work for. But also like and subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can come to more Q&As like next week's, which are... Do we know?
Seems like we might have transient potentially, and we're also doing some recordings today, right?
Oh yeah,
so
Mobia.
Some of those will go out.
Yeah. So next week we'll have Mobia and transient, so some DeFi protocols for you to check in on. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Quinn. Thank you, Leon. I see all you people out there, and we'll see you guys next time on Chainlink Q&As. Peace.
Thanks.